This is TWiT.
The program is Drive with Headspace on Waze. But
God, I
like
saw so many people so
the,
upset about this.
I like how all the graphics, they have their eyes closed as they're driving.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, typically that's what I associate with meditation, is having your eyes closed. But it's basically a way to, within Waze, kick off a custom Spotify playlist with music and content from Headspace that can kind of take you on a serene ride in a hot air balloon as you're stuck in traffic or something like that.
This is what's interesting. I have to, this is where I do go back to that thing about tech journalists failing to step outside of themselves, failing to have empathy.
All cynics.
Yeah, because not everyone lives in Los Angeles where everybody wants to disappear into the nether rather than have to sit in the traffic there, where it is stressful, where there is, like, people live in more places than just Northern California, Southern California, and New York. And I can think about back in Missouri when I was going between, because we Midwesterners will travel it's interesting. Like here, I don't know, I've talked about this a little bit before, but like here, when someone's talking about where they're going, and it's, I think in terms of duration as opposed to actual miles. So the person is 2 hours away. I've noticed that a Californian will say, that's a 4-hour trip, 2 hours there, 2 hours back. Us Midwesterners see those two things as separate. It's a 2-hour trip. You go there and then you spend the time there and then you have to make that trip back home, and that's 2 hours. But it's not 4-hour trip because it's not happening at the same time. So I have had far less of an issue, traveling longer distances, and it has boggled my mind, especially when I first moved here and I was meeting new people and hanging out with people like all the way down in Silicon Valley, where they were like, wait, why are you coming all this? Like, I feel bad that you're coming all this. No, you don't have to feel bad. I don't care. It doesn't matter. It's fine. And so in those instances, like back in Missouri, going between, I would regularly take, it was a 6-hour trip, technically 3 hours there, 3 hours back, to my hometown or to a place close to my hometown where a lot of my friends were. And on that drive, there's not a lot of traffic. Most of the time it's just driving along those highways. And this would be perfect for that. Being able to practice my meditation during those periods, 1,000%. So I understand the people that are complaining about how there's no way to find peace on the road whenever they live in a place that has high traffic and it's a stressful experience. But at the same time, maybe those folks would also benefit from a little bit of, if not meditation, mindfulness, of being aware of what things on the road are affecting them, and then learning from that, feeling that, and understanding what's happening. And maybe that would reduce road rage. So I'm more positive about it than I think people have been. And when I look at the root of that, I do wonder how much of it is people thinking that their experience is everyone's experience. And I think it's important to consider all experiences.
That's fair. I feel like the California thing, for me, it's before I moved to California, I could measure time and distance in the same way, where a 6-hour trip would be 360 miles. But I think the big thing is in California, because of the density, distance does not equal time spent. And it's like you could be going 5 miles, but it could take you an hour and a half because there's so much traffic. And so I think that's sometimes why it's like I measure it by time instead of that distance that we'll take. But I agree. I lived in LA before I came back up to San Francisco, and I'm originally from Portland, which is notoriously very nice. And I'll say I used to be a Portland driver, and then I became an LA driver, and now I'm a San Francisco. So it's balanced a little bit there, because I would be stuck on side roads in LA, completely backed up, not moving traffic. And so I can see why people might need some mindfulness there, because that legitimately, like, I experienced road rage, or like my car broke down because I ran out of gas because the traffic didn't move for like 2 hours or something. It was ridiculous. Holy moly. That was on Valentine's Day while I was by myself. And then somebody's like honking at me, and I had to push the car off to the side. And I was like, the other cars are right there. You're not going anywhere. Like, why are you
Right.
mad
What's
at
the
me
point of
right
honking?
now?
Exactly.
I was like, help me.
Nobody's moving anyway.
Exactly.
Oh boy.
That was probably my worst driving day ever. So I would
That
have
sounds terrible.
really needed this at that time.